Okay, so we have here the serological testing. Okay, so serological testing is just the testing of our sample here, primarily the serum sample for the detection of both your antigen and antibody in the specimen of the patient. So in serology, what we are using here as our sample would be serum. Okay, so you need to have here non-hemolyzed na blood in order for you to separate here your non-hemolyzed serum sample. Okay, so basically, if your specimen here is hemolyzed, it would eventually result here to the false positive reaction. And at the same time, why we are using serum here compared with your plasma, because the presence of your anticoagulant in your plasma can have here interfered with some of your serological test principle. And therefore, what we are using for that would be your serum sample. Okay, in the preparation of our serum, so your blood, whole blood should be extracted and try to allow it to clot and try to centrifuge. Okay, and if again our rule here is after you have already your fresh na serum sample, you need to process that one immediately or to perform your serological tests immediately. But if not, you can still delay your processing here, but you need to follow here the correct temperature of the storage of your serum sample. Like if they will be delayed in the processing the specimen here up to 72 hours or up to 3 days, you can still use that sample or your serum sample provided that you try to store that one in the refrigerator temperature. Okay, that is 2 to 8 degrees Celsius. But for example, if you intend here to perform your serological test more than 3 days, there are some tests which eventually like mga special tests natin where they try to pull serum coming from they try to pull a number of serum coming from different patients before they can perform your serological test because like for example, the test kit itself, it requires madami siyang mga testing well. So each of this one correspond here to the specific patient. So hindi ka pwede mag-perform lang na paisa-isa because you will just wasting the entire reagent test kit. With that, antayin mo muna na mapuno siya. Okay, therefore, the best time to, so pag inantay mo pa siya, so don't know here kung kailan mapupuno or darating ang other specimen in order to fill up the entire number of the wells. So with that, you need to store your specimen here, especially for those specimen which has been received first, okay, while awaiting for other specimen to fill up the entire well here. Um, you can frozen the specimen at -20 or much lower than that. Okay, still viable pa din ang ating serological testing. Okay, the serological testing here is based on the principle in as with respect to the rise or an increase in our antibody titer. Okay, that's why we are determining here the reaction of that with corresponding antigen as our reagent. Okay, visible reaction like in the form of your agglutination reaction or any form of your endpoint na antigen-antibody complex reaction, okay, that's is being carried in our zone of equivalence. It's about the zone of equivalence. So this is the zone here wherein your antigen and antibody concentration are equal. Okay, but if you try to carry that one in the pro zone, diba, you have your excess antibody and you carry that one in the post zone where you have your excess antigen, both of that will give a false negative reaction. So therefore, you need to carry that one in our zone of the equivalence where you have your proportional concentration of your antigen and your antibody. Okay, like for example, if you try to carry that one in the pro zone. So pro zone is characterized here by excess of the antibody with respect to your antigen as your reagent. So you can still reach here your visible endpoint like agglutination reaction, precipitation, flocculation, but you still dilute your sample for that because again, you have your excess of the antibody. Okay, so you perform here the dilution. So when I speak about dilution, so dilution here is taken as okay, the amount of your solute or the volume of your solute over the total volume of your solution. Like for example, if you have your 1:20 na dilution, so mean to say one part of this one refers to the volume of your solute and this is the total volume of your solution. So again, your solution is equal to your solute plus your solvent. Since ang ating solute is 1, so ang remaining portion of this 1, ng 20 natin, minus 1, or 19, okay, that would be the volume of your solvent. Okay, so again, dilution is not the same as our ratio. Kasi kung ratio ito, 1 part, pag ratio ito, this is the volume of your solute, this is the volume of your solvent. But in the dilution, this is the volume of your solute and this is the volume of your solution, not your solvent. So again, solution is taken here as solute plus our solvent. Okay, so we have here the sample computation and how to compute for the amount of the solute or even your diluent. Okay, so we have sample number 1. So again, this is a simple dilution. So when we speak about the simple dilution, it's just a one-time dilution. Okay, so sample problem here number 1, we have 2 ml of 1:20 dilution. So we're going to make a 2 ml with the total volume of 1:20 dilution on which, okay, so you're going to compute here how much of the serum, okay, or how much of your solute are you going to make here in order for you to arrive at a total volume, the solution, which is 2 ml, which is 1:20 in a dilution. So again, our dilution is 1:20. So again, this is the amount of the solute over the total volume of our solution. So again, the total volume of our solution is 2 ml. Okay, because this one, you're going to make this. Okay, and what you are looking for this one would be the amount of your solute. So amount of solute is your x. Okay, cross multiply, so that's your, okay, so this one, another one, so that's your 2. Okay, this is your 20x. Okay, and then lipat natin dito. So 2 over 20. Okay, that become your x. Okay, so what you have for that would be your 0.1 ml of your solute. Okay, lipat natin dito. 20x. 20x. Kasi dito dapat ang x, di ba? Ganyan. So, parang ganyan. Okay, so what you got for that would be 2 over 20x or 20, kasi x ito. Okay, that gives you a 0.1 ml of our solute. Okay, to compute here for the amount of your diluent, so remember that our diluent is equals to your total volume of your solution minus the volume of your solute. So the total volume of our solution is 2 ml and you have already 0.1 ml of your solute. So ma-minus mo lang siya. 2 minus 0.1, that gives you 1:9 ml. This is now already, okay, the volume of your solvent or your diluent. Okay, another problem here. So we have a problem of, we're going to compute here for the diluent naman. Ang given natin, we have your dilution, and you have also here the amount of your solute. So what you're going to compute here for be the amount of the solvent or your diluent. Okay, so we have that a 1:5 dilution is, okay, needed to run a test. So you have only here 0.1 ml of the serum, so that become the volume of your solute. Okay, and the question here is what amount of the diluent are you going to make here in order to add to your 0.1 ml of your serum, which is your solute, to come up with your 1:5 dilution. So again, 1:5. Okay, so solute here is 0.1 ml, amount of diluent is x. Again, in order for us then to compute here for the diluent, so again, diluent here is your total volume ng solution natin minus the volume of our solute. So since 5 ang ating total volume ng solution natin, i-minus natin siya ng 1, okay, that gives you 4, di ba? Since because again, you are going to compute here for the amount of your diluent. Again, amount of the diluent is equals to your total volume of your solution, itong total volume of solution natin, minus the volume of our solute, which is your This is 1 part. Okay, so 1 part. Okay, then we have that. Okay, that gives you 4 for that. Okay, so magiging 1:4 ito. Then we have 0.1 ml. Then we have your X. Okay, so X here. Okay, and that one, 0.4 ml. Okay, will be the amount of your diluent. To check here kung tama ang computation natin. So again, okay, to come up with a 1:5. So again, that one is taken here as 0.5 ml of your solution. Again, that's the total volume of our solution. Taken here as the volume of our solute plus the volume of our diluent. I-divide natin siya sa 0.1 ml, which is your solute. Okay, so 5. Okay, 1:5. Okay, so 5 ang ating result dito. So that would be reciprocal of that is 1:5. And tama, what you have for that would be 1:5 na final dilution. Okay, so another type of our dilution, we have here the compound dilution or a serial dilution. So basically, this one is being done in order for us then to obtain the titer of your antibody or the strength of our antibody. So the titer here is taken as, okay, the highest dilution, the reciprocal of the highest dilution, with we try to show here a reaction or a positive agglutination reaction. Okay, so serial dilution can eventually, aside from identifying here the strength or the titer of your antibody, because you tend to dilute it one, okay, and several times, diba, until you try to reach here the highest dilution, we try to show here the positive reaction becoming your titer. At the same time, our serial dilution also help us then to maximize our sample here. Okay, like for example, if you are requested to prepare here a dilution of 1:500. Okay, so if you're not able, if you just be using a simple na dilution, so para kapag prepare tayo ng 1:500 dilution, that's 1 part of your solute, and we have here 499 parts of our solvent. Or simply 0.1 ml of your serum, and we have here 49.9 ml of your diluent, like for example your NSS or your distilled water. So remember, gaano kadami ang sinasayang natin na reagent just to come up with 1:500. Where in fact, you can perform your serial dilution wherein you will just only be needing a very small volume ng ating reagent, or I mean ang diluent natin plus your serum of the patient. For example here, if you be using this one as your, for example, if you try to have only a very simple na dilution to come up with this one, like for example, pag konti ang serum ng patient natin, like baby ang patient natin, so most likely hindi tayo makakuha ng much of your blood sample. So hindi ka makaka-come up ng 0.1 ml ng serum ng patient natin. So therefore, so liliitan mo na lang siya. Perform here your serial dilution to prepare 3 test tubes. Okay, so we have that one. You can prepare that by, first we have your 1:5, then 1:10, another 1:10 then. Okay, so 1:5, so pwede, actually 1:5, pwede siyang mas maliit dito. Just need to adjust na lang. But for the simple understanding, so ito na lang, 0.1 ml of your solute, then 0.4 ml of your solution, that gives you 1:5, diba? So, paano kuha ang 5? Because 0.1 ml, which is your solute, plus the volume of your solvent, which is 0.4, that gives you 1:5. Okay, then you're going to make here the second tube 1:10 na dilution. How are you going to make here the 1:10 dilution? Okay, so lagyan mo dito ng 0.9 ml na diluent. The same true with your tube number 3, may 0.9 ml na diluent na tayo. Okay, so all you need to do here is just get 0.1 ml dito sa 1:5. Pag kumuha ka ng 0.1 ml nito plus 0.9, okay, that gives you 1:10 na dilution. Okay, so 1:10, since this one is coming from your 1:5, 10 times 5, that gives you a 1:50 na dilution. Okay, then tube number 3, kukuha ka ulit dito ng 0.1 ml ng ating 1:50 already. Kukuha ka ng 0.1 ml ng 1:50. So, 0.1 ml nito, ay galing dito, add mo dito sa 0.9, okay, that gives you a 1:10. Okay, since ang ito ay galing kay 1:50, so 1:10 multiply here by 1:50 or 50, that gives you 1:500. Okay, so pareho pa din, you were able still to come up with 1:500. Okay, so again, our serial dilution help us then to obtain here our titer of your antibody, the strength of our antibody, taken here as the reciprocal of your highest dilution that shows a positive reaction. Usually when we are using here, when we are making a dilution, is a two-fold na dilution. So like two folds here, like okay, 1:2, 1:4, 1:8, 1:16, 1:32. So like for example, so we have here, so in order to make here 1:2 dilution, so we have your 2 ml of your serum, 2 ml of our diluent. So pwede mo nalagyan lahat itong mga 1:4, mga next tube mo ng 1:2 lahat. Lagyan mo 1:2 diluent, 1:2 na diluent, 0.2 na diluent, 0.2 na diluent, and all. Okay, dito muna tayo. So, you're going to make here your 1:2 na dilution. So, 0.2 ml of your serum sa 0.2 ml of diluent that gives you a 1:2. Paano siya naging 1:2? Again, your solute is 0.2. Your solvent here is also 0.2. Ang total natin is 0.4. Okay, that's the total volume ng ating solution. So, 0.4 total volume minus, divide natin sa 0.2, which is your solute, di ba? Okay, that's give you that's 2, di ba? Okay, that gives you a 1:2 na dilution. So, you're able to satisfy your 1:2 dilution here. Then, para makakagawa tayo ng 1:4, kukuha ka ng 0.2 ulit. Since meron ka ng 0.2 dito na diluent, okay, kukuha ka ng 0.2 ml from your 1:2. So, 0.2 ulit, saka 0.2, that gives you 1:2 ulit. Since coming siya dito sa 1:2, multiply mo sa 2, gives you a 1:4. Okay, then ulit, 0.2 ulit, 0.2 ml ng 1:4, ilagay mo dito sa 0.2 ml ng diluent mo, that gives you 1:2. Ito ulit siya. Since 1:2, na coming from your 1:4 na dilution, so 2 times 4, that gives you a 1:8 na dilution. Then we have also here, okay, 1:16, so kukuha ko ulit ng 0.2 ml, lalagay mo dito sa 0.2 ml na diluent mo, that gives you a 1:2. Okay, na dilution, since coming from the 1:8, multiply mo sa 8, that gives you a 1:16 na dilution. Then we have your 1:32. Kuha ka ulit ng 0.2 ml coming from your 1:16. You put this one in your tube containing a 0.2 ml of your diluent, 0.2 ulit sa 0.2, total of 0.4. Okay, that's give you a 1:2 na dilution coming from 16, 1:16, multiply natin sa 16, that gives you a 1:32 na dilution. Okay, now, how are you going to identify here the titer of your antibody? Like for example, kung nagkaroon dito ng positive reaction, positive reaction, positive reaction, positive reaction. Okay, dito ay negative. Okay, so again, our titer of your antibody is taken as the reciprocal of your dilution, which shows here the reciprocal of your highest dilution, which shows a positive reaction. So this is your highest dilution, 1:16. Okay, so that shows here positive reaction. And the reciprocal of this one is 16, di ba? So 16 ang titer ng antibody natin. Paano, for example here, hanggang dito sa pinaka-end tube mo ay may positive reaction? How are you going to report the titer? Okay, so you do not stop dito. You will just report na 1:32 ang ating titer. It's because here baka, okay, dito sa next tube mo, pag dinagdagan mo ang dilution mo, if you further titrate that one, hindi mo alam dito kung ano pa ang maximum. And therefore, kung dito sa pinaka-end tube mo ay may positive pa na reaction, then you need to further titrate. Okay? So, gagawa ka pa ng panibagong 1:2 na dilution or twofold dilution until such time that you are able to specifically identify the titer of your antibody. Okay? So, that's it for this one. Thank you.